You can see it and read about it all over the internet. So today I'm going to give you my opinion on whether or not I'm being scammed by leasing this truck. Alright, YouTube, so anywhere you go on the internet, you can read about every trucking company in America who has a lease program and how they're scamming their drivers. That hasn't been my experience, so I went and looked up the definition of scam. And the key words, the definition of scam are dishonest, scheme, or fraud. Okay? Dishonest. There's the big word, alright? Scheme or fraud. Fraud is a criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. Criminal deception, right? So we got dishonest, we got deception. So what's that boil down to? It boils down to lies, right? So a scam is involving lies. No one's ever lied to me about leasing a truck. You know, whether it be at KLLM or Prime, everything I was told is what has happened. They've told me exactly what it's going to cost me a week. They told me that I'm responsible for the fuel. They told me that I'm responsible for the maintenance of the vehicle. At KLM, they told me I was on Tyson Dedicated. I think I got 92 cents a mile plus the fuel surcharge. At Prime, they told me I'm going to get 72% of the load. All of that's been true. All of that's been true. So absolutely in no way is leasing a scam. However, leasing's not for everybody, all right? Take it from somebody who's sitting in their lease truck talking to you. I'm not sitting at a kitchen table. I'm not sitting on my couch telling you how bad leasing is and how it's a scam and how you'll never make no money, okay? I'm out here living it every single day, all right? So if you want to go on YouTube and you want to go look at the guys sitting at their kitchen table or sitting on their couch telling you what, you know, how it's all a big scam, keep in mind they're sitting at home, all right? They're not even working. And that truck has to be paid for. So they're not making any money because they're choosing to be at home. I live it every day. I do very well doing it, even solo. Everybody goes, oh, but you're a trainer. Not always. I haven't had a student in a couple weeks. I don't always have a student. I do just fine solo. I don't have to be a trainer to make money leasing. But leasing is not for everybody, all right? With leasing comes responsibility. When I say that, I mean, well, I should say with leasing comes power. With power comes responsibility. Okay, I think that's a good way to break it down. So with leasing, you have the power to decide where you're going to go, when you're going to go home, how long you're going to be home, all of that. So that's something that a power you don't get when you're a company driver somewhere. As a company driver, you can decide what day you'd like to be home, but they're going to tell you how many days you can stay there before you got to go back to work. Leasing, they don't do that. Also, as a company driver, they're going to tell you what load you're taking. They're going to say, okay, go pick this load up and go. Leasing, they don't do that. Leasing, they propose a load to you. Hey, this is the best load I can find in the area. Do you want it? You tell them no, they find you a different one. All right, you have the ability to turn that down. With leasing, you have the ability to say, you have the power to say, hey, I don't want to go here or I don't want to go there. You know, I don't want to go to New York City. All right, I'll go to upstate New York. I'll go to western New York. But I'm not going to New York City. And while you're at it, add Newark, New Jersey to the list. Because all Newark, New Jersey is New York's toilet bowl. That's just my opinion. Some of y'all might be from there, I'm sorry. But, you know, I choose not to go to that area because I have that power as a lease driver. I also have the responsibilities of a lease driver, okay? I have to make this truck payment every single week, no matter what's going on. So whether I'm at home sitting on the couch making a YouTube video about how bad my life is at whatever trucking company I'm at, I still have to make my truck payment. So I don't go home very often. When I do go home, I go home for 4, 5, 6 days at a time. So I make good use of it. But I chose to do that. And that's why leasing is not for everybody, all right? Some people do much better and thrive as a company driver. We have a lot of company drivers here at Prime, been here 15 plus years, 20 plus years. Those of you that have been to the terminal, You've seen the Wall of Fame, right? How many 1, 2, and 3 million mile drivers we have here at Prime. It amazes me when I hear people say, no one stays at Prime. Prime's a starter company. No one stays there more than 6 months or a year. Boy, you can tell those are the uneducated people and they don't know a whole lot about Prime. Because those of you who've been to Prime, you've walked the halls, you've seen the plaques. And there's, maybe 1,000? I'm gonna say hundreds, but there might be 1,000, over 1,000, that have all got over 1 million miles here at Prime and are still here. Prime's a large company. We have a lot of drivers. Do we have turnover? Yes, we do. Just like every other company in America. It just happens. A large percentage of turnover in the trucking industry is lack of work ethic. All right? As a driver, whether you're a lease operator or a company driver, you still have to be self-motivated. You have to know what drives you as an individual. Okay? Those things are important to you being successful out here as a lease driver. All right? If you're not self-motivated, if you can't get out of bed in the morning without someone being on your rear end and get to where you need to be early, you will not make it in the trucking industry. And you definitely won't make it as a lease driver. I get to all my appointments early. I deliver, I pick up, I do everything I can to put myself in a position to make money every single week. All right. This past week, did I make any money? No. Why? Because I decided to go to the picnic. I went to the truck driving championship, and I went to the picnic on a holiday weekend. I knew going in that the odds are it was going to be rough. Well, I talked to some buddies of mine who stayed out, did not come in for the picnic. Freight was just as rough for them. So it's just a holiday week. That's just the way it goes sometimes. That's part of trucking. All right, when everything's shut down for a holiday, there's not a lot anybody can do. It doesn't matter where you work. So leasing is not a scam, but like I said, it's not for everybody. It's absolutely not for everybody. So you need to make sure you do all your research and decide, you do not get company benefits as a lease driver, so you're not getting offered the health insurance or the 401k or the disabilities. You're not getting offered any of that. That's another thing, people who need that health insurance for a family, they need to be on the company side of driving. That way you have access to all those benefits. You have the ability to obtain that stuff that you need to take care of yourself and your family. So when you guys are deciding to go company or lease, just keep all that in mind, all right? Don't worry about the scam videos, all right? Talk to people who live it. It still may not be for you, though, all right? Still may not be for you. You may want to spend extra time at home, or you may need the health insurance, because the reality of it is, like I said, leasing is power is responsibility, all right? And everybody wants the power of a lease driver, but a large percentage don't want the responsibility. Now, I like leasing over being an owner-operator because tomorrow I can turn my keys in and I can walk away. I don't have a long-term commitment. I've been driving a truck 14 years. I could go down and buy me a truck. I have enough experience that I can go down to the dealership and buy me a truck. I'm not going to have an issue, all right? Or one of these companies are going to lease me a truck. I'm not going to have an issue with that. I don't want that, all right? That's super long-term commitment. I am stuck in trucking until that truck is paid off if I do that. Working at Prime as a lease driver here, which is not lease purchase, just so everybody understands that. Prime does have something called an ACE lease, which is lease purchase. But most Prime lease drivers are just that. They're lease drivers. When the lease on the truck is up, they turn it in and they get an end of lease payout, where Prime's going to cut them a check based on the condition of that vehicle. All right, if you've had the truck the whole 3 years, you get as much as $30,000 back in one lump sum payment. They give it back to you. It just depends. Depends on the condition of the vehicle, how long you were in the vehicle. All those keys come into play. All those factors. So just keep that in mind, guys. Talk to people. Talk to company drivers. Talk to lease drivers. Weigh your own personal options. All right. Because I may have more power than a company driver, and I may be making a little more money than them, but they're probably going home a lot more than I am. And they've got the health insurance through the company and stuff that I don't have. So the payout is more, the benefits are less, the home time is less. All right, that goes back to power and responsibility. All that comes into play. So, all right, guys, talk to people, talk to company drivers, talk to lease drivers, and don't just find one. All right, get out there and talk to them. Find out what's working for them. You know, if they're being successful, find out why. You know, what kind of revenue are you getting every week? How many miles are you running to get that? What kind of miles per gallon are you getting? What type of truck are you driving? You know, company drivers, you know, find them. Ask them, hey, how many miles are you running? How's that working out after taxes and all that? And after benefits. You know, get as much information as you possibly can to put in the basket, so that when you sit down with your wife or husband or whoever to decide whether you're going to go lease or company, you have all the information you need to decide what is the best path for you, because you need to pick the path that's going to make you successful. That's the key to it, okay? All right, I hope to see every one of you out here that's interested in coming. Prime currently has a wait for orientation. Y'all know the deal. I'm doing PSD only right now for my referrals. So if you are one of my referrals coming in for training for truck driving school, there's always that possibility I'll train you if you're on my referral list when I come in. In the meantime, y'all be safe out there. Be smart. Take the steps that you need to do to be successful. And I'll see you out there conquering the highway.